So for step 5, the counter gear, well, you can see that we're going to grab the counter gear, but that is part of the TL01 speed set. That's the other piece. And there are 2 bearings, the BA12s. Now, they would be these brass bushings, bearings that came in the kit. But because we are replacing everything with full ball bearings, these ones are actually identical. That's an 1150 bearing that would have been the plastic one out of the kit. And these ball bearings are going to be replacing the metal bushings. So we're going to be using full ball bearings for that. So we need to put those into that gear. And we have this little piece of sponge tape yet again to put on the other side. So I'll set this up and we'll put it together. So here is the other side of that gearbox. So you can see here there is the sponge tape again. So we need to take this sponge tape off the backing. And it is going to sit basically right there at the top of that lip. So let's stick that right there. So that's how that's going to look. And then for this bearing, we've got the 2 on either side, 1 and 2, just like that. And this last bearing is going to fit into the other side right there. So we've got our bearing in place, we've got the little sponge tape, and on this gear, we've got our 2 bearings inside it. So that is it. That is all that's required for step 5. So we're going to move right into step 6 and put the gearbox together. So for step 6, the gearbox, well, you can see that we're now going to put both halves of the gearbox together, and there is again some more sponge tape that we need to attach to the top. So I've already cut those pieces out, and of course there's the gear that we're going to need, and then we've got our screws and our shaft. So I'll set this up and we'll put this together. So I think based on the diagram, we'll put the sponge tape on after we've put this together. So if we take our counter gear, so this is from the TLU1 speed set, we need to grease this all up, which we will do. So let's do that. And I need to turn this, because unfortunately what I think I am seeing is, despite the fact that it comes with 2 tubes of grease, I have a feeling it's technically still not going to be enough. I mean, I think you could get away with maybe putting less grease on the gears, but when it's the gearbox, I kind of prefer to have more rather than less. I'm going to use up every bit of this I can tell. Okay. We got quite a bit on there. So I'm just going to put that aside, but you can see that we have this shaft, and again, this needs to be greased up as well. So we'll do that. It's getting slick. We got it all done. Yes. That'll be just enough. And we're going to slide that through there. Now technically, because this is ball bearings, I don't typically use grease. But with it being the gearbox and it seems like a heavier shaft, I kind of have decided I'm going to use the grease for that. So I'm just going to wipe my hands down here, but you can see that if we grab our gear case on this side, you can see that this needs to slide into our hole for the motor mount. So it's going to sit like that. And wipe my hands down a bit again. Now the two halves of the gearbox are going to be able to fit together. So you can see that that is how it's going to look with the speed gear set in place. So this will sit on top. Just got to make sure that the placement is correct. There we go. Popping into place. So now with that in, we're going to take one of our screws, and you can see we've got one that's got to go way down there. So let's screw that one in. And again, I'm not going to go all the way. I just want to make sure that it's fitting. And then we have one down here at the bottom. There we go. And the third one is going to sit right here. So you can see that we've got 1, 2, and 3 screws holding this all together. So let's go around and make sure that it's all okay. Seems like it. And again, I'm kind of going around and making sure that it's going, all of them are going in nicely, no binding. Feels pretty good. And this is hard plastic, so once you're at the end, you'll know. The screw won't turn anymore. Great. So there we go. There is our gearbox put together and our nice aluminum motor mount. And now we're going to work on getting the sponge tape in the right place. So if we grab one of these pieces, and they are identical when you cut them. There we go. Take that out. What are we going to do? Let's see how this is going to sit. We know that this piece is going to sit right there. So we'll turn that around, and we're going to put that right there. And if we grab the other piece, this one is going to sit, if I do this right, right there. I moved that the wrong place. There. Whoops. So that's where the two pieces of the sponge tape will sit when it's finished. I put that over there. It was meant to go here. So one there. Just like you see in the overhead shot of how that's going to sit. That's where the two pieces of sponge tape are going to go. So that is it for step 6, rear gearbox complete. So now we're going to work on step 7 and attach the rear damper stay.